hoc committee that introduces a new pension and retirement program for military and uniformed personnel, or MUPs. Teodoro notes that imposing mandatory pension contributions on MUPs without a transition phase will, quote, definitely have an impact on our soldiers. In particular, Teodoro says he does not agree to the proposed blanket mandatory contributions for military personnel, especially those who have completed 20 years of active service. He notes that Defense Secretary, if the proposed measures enacted into law, it will affect the take-home pay and retirement benefits of MUPs. Teodoro argues that President Marcos wants a carefully transitioned introduction of any pension reform plan. He adds that the non-diminution or not lowering the retirement benefits of uniformed personnel is the least the government can do to recognize their sacrifices for the country. Heads up motorists, dry run for the cashless toll collection begins in September. Auto sweep will be accommodated at select toll plazas at the NAIA X, Skyway SLEX, Star Tollway, MCX, and TPlex. The dry run for Easy Trip will run at toll plazas along NLEX, SCTEX, Calax, and the Cavitex C5 South Link. The dry run is set to run for 2 months. The Transportation Department in 2020 approved the mandatory use of RFIDs for cashless toll transactions. However, the full implementation was postponed following glitches and complaints from motorists. The Toll Regulatory Board assures it has inspected how effective toll lanes are in detecting and collecting from RFIDs.
And if the assessment is good, maganda na po, ready na ang mga toll plazas natin. I-recommenda po namin yan sa DOTR at sila po ang magdidesisyon, sila magbibigay ng pasya kung ipapatukan na po.
Still on transportation, it's not just jeepneys. UV Express and provincial buses are now eyeing their own fare increase. This comes on the back of continuous increase in the prices of fuel products, with the cheapest diesel now at around 60 pesos per liter in Metro Manila. If that reaches 65 pesos, the UV Express National Alliance of the Philippines might be forced to request a 2 peso fare hike per kilometer. Meanwhile, the Association of Provincial Buses is assessing the cost parameters to see how much fare increase they will request. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Jago Castro. President Bongbong Marcos supports a review of the rice tariffication law, according to one agriculture official. DA Assistant Secretary Rex Estuperes told the Philippine Star that the president emphasized the need to empower the National Food Authority. The rice tariffication law stripped the NFA of regulatory roles such as import licensing and warehouse inspections. The RTL also changed rice inventory requirements for the private sector from 60 days to 81 days and for the NFA from 30 days to just 9 days. Importers, meanwhile, are required to pay 35% tariff, a percentage of which is appropriated to the rice industry's development. According to Estuperes, A recommendation for RTL amendments will be sent to Marcos Jr., who concurrently heads the DA. One food scientist believes that it's time for Filipinos to look for rice alternatives, like a rice-corn blend. This comes after Trade Secretary Alfredo Pascual suggested a diet change to combat rice prices. UP Los Baños Institute of Plant Breeding Research consultant Art Salazar told the big story that the rice-corn blend is cheaper than rice. He added that supplementing rice supply with corn could greatly help the country's food self-sufficiency. Salazar also noted that corn is healthier and easier to produce than rice.
The percentage of Filipinos eating corn as food, corn grits, we call it corn grits, is only about is less than 10%. So if we could only increase it to 10 or 20 to 20%, then we need not be afraid of losing import window because we have corn. Corn is easier to produce than rice. It does not need irrigation. Corn is rain-fed, and it's also physiologically more efficient. So mas mura siyang produce.
In sports, some teams have arrived in the country for the FIBA World Cup, which will begin next week. Ivory Coast and Montenegro landed yesterday. They are two of three teams that Gilas Pilipinas will be facing in tune-up games. The national team will be also playing against Mexico as the last part of preparation for the tournament. The Ivory Coast will play against the Philippines tonight in a closed-door game at the PhilSports Arena before heading to Indonesia for their games. On the other hand, the match with Montenegro will be on August 20. Meanwhile, Gilas has 5 days to submit the final roster for the FIBA World Cup. The national team coaches are set to meet next week to finalize the final 12 from the current 16-man pool. Gilas head coach Chot Reyes admitted that the players' fitness is the team's priority for now. He is hopeful that some of the key players of the team, like Scotty Thompson and Kai Soto, will be in a good enough condition to play. Thompson recently recovered from a hand injury, while Soto was just cleared to play following his back injury. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us again at 11:15 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News. The FIBA World Cup starts on August 24. Support Gilas, support Team Pilipinas. Watch, buy tickets, the biggest sports event of the year.